What's up, Totem Pole Nation? Who's really the best quarterback in the NFL 2025 rankings, according to Pro Football Focus? Lambo, are you excited to be on Totem Pole Nation talking about PFF's NFL quarterback ratings for 2025?
Yeah, I'm excited. I'm excited about the NFL. I'm excited about the National Football League. EA Sports Electronic Arts Madden NFL 26. Saquon Barkley, the running back for the Philadelphia Eagles, is on the cover of EA Sports Electronic Arts Madden NFL 26. I'm excited to get the show started. Thank you for all the Total Pole fans for being here.
Yes, sir. All right, so we're going to get going on our list. Now, this is according to Pro Football Focus. Number 32 on the list for the Saints, Tyler Stroud. One of the most surprising developments of the 2025 NFL Draft was Tyler Stroud being the third quarterback off the board. Lambo, are you surprised that Tyler Stroud is ranked 32?
Well, Tyler Stroud transferred to multiple schools. I think at first he played at Texas Tech, then he played at Louisville. I like the way Jeff Brom has really developed some quarterbacks out of there. But, I mean, the reason to put him at 32 is because we don't know what he's capable of yet. I think he's in the starting quarterback job with some other quarterbacks on that roster due to Derek Carr retiring from the National Football League. So I think we'll have to see what happens with Tyler Stroud. If he's not going to be a starter, he's probably going to be a NFL veteran backup. But we have to see how he does in the OTAs, summer camp, and the preseason to see how good he's going to be. We haven't seen him play a snap of football yet. What are your thoughts?
Hey, man, I think he's lucky to get picked third out of the three quarterbacks that were taken. Noah, what's the deal? This is for you, Noah.
It's got to be a mentality. Yes, sir. So when you come out here, you're ready to dominate.
It's got to be a mentality. You got to come out here and want to dominate. Lambo, this is for you. Right here. This guy. Let's go. Totem Pole Nation. Number 32 on our list. Well, I don't even know, or 31, I don't even know if he would still be on the list. Mason Rudolph. After spending his first 6 seasons with the Pittsburgh Steelers, Mason Rudolph spent a year in Tennessee before returning on a 2-year deal with the Steelers. Lambo, will Mason Rudolph be the starter this year, or is he pretty much a backup to Aaron Rodgers?
Well, what the Pittsburgh Steelers and Mike Tomlin are doing is they're trying to create some type of run. They already signed Aaron Rodgers to a 1-year, $13 million deal. I guess all of that's either incentive money or whatever it is. But Mason Rudolph, he came out of Oklahoma State. He's going to be there's a reason why Pittsburgh got aggressive and got DK Metcalf, traded away George Pickens, draft picks. They still have TJ Watt on the field. But look, the Pittsburgh Steelers hadn't even improved. So whether Mason Rudolph would have been the starting quarterback if they hadn't signed Aaron Rodgers, the Pittsburgh Steelers have played in the toughest division of football. And the toughest division of football is the AFC North. You got the Baltimore Ravens in there. You got the Cleveland Browns in there. So and the Cincinnati Bengals. You got a lot of good teams in there. So at the end of the day, what we have to do is Mason Rudolph is just a good backup. He hasn't shown any promise as a starter, but he's just there for veteran presence just in case Aaron Rodgers gets hurt.
Noah said, I don't think Tom Brady is the GOAT. I think Patrick Mahomes is the GOAT. Let's see what Lambo has to say.
Tom Brady is the greatest quarterback of all time. I mean, it's not, and I'm not basing it off stats or anything, but nobody expected a 6th-round, 199th pick to win 7 Super Bowls, and then as soon as he immediately leaves New England Patriots, wins the Super Bowl with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. I mean, that right there is just greatness. It's hard work. It's determination. Nobody expected this guy to be great. Mahomes already had some flashes that he was going to be good, especially in Texas Tech. So, but Tom Brady just had the development sitting behind Drew Brees, but also Patrick Mahomes had the development sitting behind Alex Smith. But Mahomes' career is not over yet, so I'm not going to sit here and say he's going to be better than Tom Brady when he still has a couple more years to play.
Great. Is your radio on, Lambo? Number 30.
That's not mine.
Number 30 on our list. Gotcha, brother. Anthony Richardson. Indianapolis Colts. Richardson could arguably be slotted in Tier 5 as he's yet to complete a full season since entering the NFL. His grading profile is poor and he struggles to run an efficient offense. Richardson faces an uphill battle and could be on a short leash this season. Anthony Richardson. How do you feel about Anthony Richardson and the Colts, Lambo?
Well, let's look at what Bruce Arians said on a previous podcast. I mean, I think Anthony Richardson, he said Anthony Richardson came out of college too early. And we're talking about Bruce Arians, a Hall of Fame coach, the guy that coached Tom Brady, the guy that coached Carson Palmer, the guy that coached Big Roethlisberger. I mean, the guy that coached Andrew Luck. So Bruce Arians knows about quarterbacks. He's not a quarterback in the NFL. He said that he was tired. So I think after this season, I'm not surprised if the Indianapolis Colts move on from Anthony Richardson. He is not a pro-style quarterback. He is not ready. So I wouldn't be surprised if the Colts move on from Anthony Richardson. We'll see if he improves this year, but I see it. He tapped out, and you can't go to the NFL saying I'm tired.
Wow. He's tired. All right, number 29 on the list. The immortal. Does he ever get old? Joe Flacco. As much as some Browns fans are excited about Joe Flacco's return, the reality is he's a 40-year-old stopgap. He can still deliver competent play and keep the offense on schedule, but he's clearly a short-term solution until Shedeur Sanders or Dylan Gabriel is ready to take over. Joe Flacco. I mean, will he even be the starter, Lambo? Joe Flacco. Sanders starting for the Browns this year. Joe Flacco won a national championship with Delaware back in the day. I think he originally went to Pitt. Coach Lambo is back. He's having some technical difficulties. How do you feel about Joe Flacco, Lambo? Will he even start for the Browns this year?
I think he starts just because the way the Browns drafted quarterbacks. I mean, they drafted Dylan Gabriel first, and then they drafted Shedeur Sanders in the 5th round. Joe Flacco has some experience and some presence. He had a good run earlier in his career with the Baltimore Ravens, won the Super Bowl with them in 2012. But I think at the end of the day, it's just going to come down to consistency for the Cleveland Browns. I think Kevin Stefanski is really going to be on the hot seat this year, and GM Andrew Berry. So they got to get the quarterback situation right. I mean, you got rid of Baker Mayfield in 2021 or 22, and they re-signed Myles Garrett to a big contract extension. But like I said, the Browns play in the toughest division, the AFC North. So I don't think they're going to win any more than 6 or 7 games. So I think it comes down to if Joe Flacco plays bad the first 4 or 5 games, they pull him, and either Dylan Gabriel starts or they got Kenny Pickett or Shador Sanders. But it's probably going to be QB1 and QB2, either Joe Flacco or Kenny Pickett.
On our list, Justin Fields, New York Jets. We have a comment from Noah. Noah says, I think Joe Flacco will have a good year if he does start. Justin Fields, number 28. The Jets entered the summer in a stranger spot, handing Justin Fields the starting quarterback job with little competition behind him. Tyrod Taylor slots in as the backup, while undrafted rookie Brady Cook rounds out the depth chart. Lambo, what are your Fields? I mean, what are you Fields? How do you feel about Justin Fields coming in at 28?
Justin Fields really in this.
Yeah, you're in a really bad area, Lambo. Justin Fields, 6'3", 228 pounds, 26-year-old.
Justin Fields,
Justin Fields earned a 71 grade with the Steelers in 2024, but passing consistency has eluded him throughout his career. New York may ride it out with Justin Fields for all of 2025, but odds are he's just keeping the seat warm for a 2026 draft pick. Number 27 on Pro Football Focus's top quarterbacks in the NFL, Russell Wilson. The clock is ticking on Wilson's career. Now 36, he no longer has the mobility that once defined his game, and that limits his ceiling. He still grades well and posted a 79.5 overall mark in 2024, but he struggles to generate the efficiency needed to sustain a high-level offense. Russell Wilson, married to Sierra. Russell Wilson, I mean, he's another one. Will Russell Wilson even for the New York Giants? I'm not so sure. I'm really not. I mean, you got Jackson Dart in there. You got Jameis Winston, 5'11", 215 pounds out of NC State in Wisconsin. Russell Wilson. Number 26 on our list. Lambo, we just had Russell Wilson as number 27. I mean, Lambo. Will Russell Wilson even start?
Yes, sir.
What are your feelings about Russell Wilson
Well,
being number?
let's look at the Giants situation. You got GM Joe Sheen. You got Brian Daboll, the head coach. I think Russell Wilson does start eventually over Jameis Winston. They also drafted Jackson, Dart, talking to the Giants or whatever, as far as the consistency of the quarterback play. You still have Malik Neighbors on the outside. You have a great defensive line that you drafted in this year's draft. I think Russell Wilson is going to start. He's not the same Russell Wilson as he once was in Seattle, and he had a horrible stint in Denver, and he had an okay stint with the Pittsburgh Steelers. So I think Russell Wilson is a guy that will help you win games at this point, possibly make the playoffs. But in that NFC East, you're dealing with the Commanders and you're dealing with the Eagles. So it's going to be very, very tough for them to even make the playoffs this year.
Number 26. Wow, I'm surprised by this one. Sam Darnold comes in at number 26, Seattle Seahawks. The big question for Darnold and the Seahawks is which version of the quarterback shows up in 2025. Lambo, how do you feel about Sam Darnold being ranked 26th? I mean, at one time last year, you said that the Vikings were the best team in the NFL. Do you think he deserves to be ranked number 26 out of 32 quarterbacks in the NFL?
Well, I think he should be ranked a little bit higher. But, I can't say what I really want to say about that. But I will say this. The Minnesota Vikings with Sam Darnold, should they have re-signed him? Maybe, maybe not. I mean, that's up to them. But they have a young quarterback in J.J. McCarthy out of Michigan who has high hopes and high potential. Look, nobody expected the Minnesota Vikings to be 14-3 and make the divisional round of the playoffs to play against, I think they played the Lions. No, they lost to the Rams. So Sam Darnold has proved people wrong. He was not in the correct system with the New York Jets. He was not in the correct system with the Carolina Panthers. Kevin O'Connell knows how to develop quarterbacks. He did it with Kirk Cousins, whether you could say Kirk Cousins is winning primetime games. He did it with Sam Darnold. Nobody expected the Minnesota Vikings to win 14 games. But I think also with Seattle Seahawks, he's going to be the starter. Jalen Milroe was drafted in the third round. So they're going to play defense. They're going to run the ball. But remember, they're also in the second toughest division of football, which is the NFC West. Because you have the 49ers in there, you have the Rams in there, you have the Arizona Cardinals in there. The NFC West is a tough division. Normally, if you look at the playoff bracket, at least 3 teams, depending on what year it is, at least three teams out of the NFC West make the playoffs. So I think Seattle's gonna have a little tough of a year, but they have a better quarterback than what they had in Geno Smith.
All right, keep it on with our who really is the best quarterback in the NFL. These rankings are from Pro Football Focus.
Yes.
Cameron Ward, Tennessee Titans, one of 2 rookie quarterbacks projected to start in week 1. Ward will need plenty to fall in place as the Titans work through a still flawed roster. Cam Ward. What's your feelings on Cam Ward, Lambo?
Well, we know that me and Coach Troy Taylor love the U. We love the University of Miami and Alex Mirabal. But when it comes to Cam Ward, before he was at Miami, he was at Washington State. Remember, Cam Ward was a 0-star prospect. 0-star prospect. Now, I think Brian Callahan is going to be a great coach. He's in year 2. Last year, he had Mason Rudolph. They still have Tony Pollard. The Titans need to rebuild after the firing of Mike Vrabel 2 years ago. So I think Brian Callahan does have something up his sleeve. The question is, you're going to have to compete with the Houston Texans in that division, and we'll see if Jacksonville does get any better. But I think with Cam Ward being the first pick of the draft was not surprising to a lot of us. But we're going to have to see how he plays. I want to see the development of Cam Ward. I need to see the development because we tend to rush quarterbacks that are not ready to play. So we'll see if he's ready to play. Hopefully the Tennessee Titans organization does not set him up to fail. But we'll see what he does in his rookie year.
Continuing on with who really is the best quarterback in the NFL. These rankings are by Pro Football Focus, PFF. Number 24, Caleb Williams, Chicago Bears. Touted as a generational talent by many. Caleb Williams underwhelmed as a rookie, earning just a 67.6 overall grade and posting only 5 single-game grades above 70. The talent is undeniable, but his NFL success will hinge on learning to find open targets and avoiding the habit of running himself into pressure. Coming in at number 24, Caleb Williams, the Chicago Bears. What do you think, Lamba?
You got a new head coach, Ben Johnson, the former OC of the Detroit Lions. You have a great defensive coordinator. I think they got a new offensive coordinator as well. So Caleb Williams just needs to develop and get better. I think he has the potential to get better with Ben Johnson in the offense. Like I said, he's in the NFC East as well. So Detroit is going to be good as always. Green Bay is very, very consistent. So we're going to have to see how good the Chicago Bears are going to be this year. I think the Chicago Bears will have maybe 8 wins. I'll give them 8-9 this year in that tough division. If you look at their schedule, they do have some tough opponents in this schedule. I think it's a little bit harder than what it was last year as far as scheduling wise. But this building up of Caleb Williams is going to take a trusted relationship between him and Ben Johnson, the head coach. So you just got to build that trust. You got to build that foundation. What is the standard for the Chicago Bears? Because they hadn't won anything since Jay Cutler was the quarterback when he went to the NFC Championship game in 2010, I think. So they just have to develop the chemistry. They have to trust each other. They got some dogs. I thought they had a very great draft, but they just have to execute on the field. But we'll see how he does and how he progresses.
Coming in at number 23 on the Pro Football Focus top quarterbacks of 2025, number 23, Michael Penix Jr., quarterback for the Atlanta Falcons. Penix's NFL sample size is small but promising. Across 114 dropbacks, he earned an 87.9 overall grade, a number inflated by a dominant Week 18 performance that included 7 big-time throws and a 95.6 game grade. He's got some weapons out there at Atlanta. What do you think about Michael Penix, Lambo, coming in at number 23?
Michael Penix, he went to the University of Washington. Kalen DeBoer, former head coach, who is now the head coach of the Alabama Crimson Tide. Look, Michael Penix has some flashes towards the end of the year. Like, we went to the Commanders game. I thought that the Falcons were supposed to win that game, but they didn't call a timeout for whatever reason it was. But Michael Penix has a lot of upside. He has a lot of potential. I think it's the right decision by former head coach Raheem Morris, who was on the staff in Atlanta as an assistant earlier in the years. But I think moving on from Kirk Cousins is the correct way, because he's not really the right fit for the offense they want to run. I think they want to be fast. They want tempo. They want somebody that can be mobile. And today's game is all about the mobility of the quarterback. So I think Michael Penix, has little flashes. I'm not comparing him to Michael Vick, but the reason why I said Michael Vick, because he's a left-handed thrower. So I think he has some flashes and upside. But I think the Falcons will be a lot better this year. They have I'm not going to say they have an easy path, but it's going to be slightly better than what it was last year because all you have to do in your division is worry about the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, and then, the Saints are going to go down, and the Carolina Panthers aren't going to be as good. So I think there's a chance in the NFC that the Falcons will make the playoffs this year.
Coming in at number 22 in the Pro Football Focus top quarterbacks in the NFL for 2025, Drake May, New England Patriots. May went through the expected rookie growing pains, finishing the year with a 64.9 passing grade and more turnover-worthy plays, 16, than big-time throws, 14. Drake May coming in at number 22, Lambo. That's your team, the Patriots. Are you surprised that they have Drake May at 22?
I mean, that's about right. I mean, look, I like when we drafted number 3 last year, but let's be honest, Gerard Mayo was set up to fail. He was really set up to fail. I mean, that team was already bad last year, and despite having a bad O-line, having multiple injuries on defense, Drake May learning a new system. The former OC is Alex Van Pelt, who is now gone. But I'm more confident in Drake May this year because I like Mike Vrabel. I like what Mike Vrabel is bringing to the table. You said it yourself, Troy. He's like a Belichick and Parcells, but he's a fun guy. But he's a fun guy, but he also, sets down the expectations. We got former OC Josh McDaniels, who I think is the best OC in the history of the NFL. I'm not saying of all time. I'm saying in the era that I've watched football, I think he's one of the best OCs in this game, at least for the last 5 to 10 years. Correct me if I'm wrong, but I think Drake May will improve. I think we will get better. The New England Patriots have a chance to make the playoffs this year. We're going to win at least 10 games. We got a solid defense. We got Terrell Williams, the DC. So we're going to be fine. We got Morgan Moses. We got Mac Hollins. We got Fuma guys. Body, mind, and spirit. And that's what gets me so excited. It's just not about the quarterbacks. Drake May is going to be fine. We're just going to have to take our time, chip away. But look, I'm not mad that he's a number 22. He's a rookie. Now he's a sophomore. We'll see if Drake May is going to be Drake May.
21. This surprises me. Number 21, J.J. McCarthy, Minnesota Vikings. I'm leaning on my personal evaluation here, says Pro Football Focus, as I had McCarthy as the top quarterback in the 2024 NFL Draft. Wow. We didn't get better than Jaden Daniels. We didn't get to see him as a rookie, but his 2023 season at Michigan, where he earned a 92.2 PFF grade and had a 93.4 passing grade, highlighted everything you want in a young passer. Number 21 in the top quarterbacks in the NFL for 2025, according to Pro Football Focus, J.J. McCarthy, Lambo.
Look, I'm a big fan of J.J. McCarthy. I like this guy. Watching him at Michigan under Jim Harbaugh, I mean, look, his stats were up there. People can criticize him, say, oh, his stats weren't there. J.J. McCarthy didn't cost you a game. When the game was on the line, J.J. McCarthy made the correct plays. And by the way, Michigan's offense was a lot different than, LSU's offense. I know a lot of people like to compare J.J. McCarthy and Jaden Daniels. I like both quarterbacks. I don't hate on neither quarterback. I think with Kevin O'Connell moving on from Sam Darnold, he's saying J.J. McCarthy, you are ready to be the starter. Now we've seen little snaps of last year in the preseason game. He unfortunately tore his ACL, but he will be back stronger. He will be better. Congratulations to his engagement with his lovely wife. But I think at the end of the day, the Minnesota Vikings are going to be fine. I don't know if they're going to make a deep playoff run, but he hasn't played a snap of football, so we'll see how he does against opponents. He might go off to a little bit of a rough start because he hasn't played in so long, But I think the Minnesota Vikings are going to be fine. I think they'll still make the playoffs because I like what Kevin O'Connell is doing. They also have Brian Flores as the defensive coordinator, so they're going to play great defense. They're going to score points. They're going to be fine.
Number 20 on the Pro Football Focus top NFL quarterbacks coming into the 2025 season, Bryce Young, quarterback for the Carolina Panthers. After struggling mightily as a rookie and getting benched following 2 poor starts in 2024, Young completely turned things around. From week 8 onward, he graded as the 13th best quarterback in the league, earning an 83.2 overall mark over the 10-game stretch. Lambo, Bryce Young, Carolina Panthers, ranked number 20.
Well, Bryce Young, I think he's been in 2 systems in 2 years or 2 and 3. Dave Canales is the second-year head coach going into the system. They had Frank Wright, but I don't agree with firing Frank Wright after 10 games. So when it comes to Carolina Panthers, it's not just Bryce Young and the quarterback. A lot of pieces needs to be fixed around the whole team. The ownership has to, get better and want to win. I'll give Bryce Young some slack. It's just because we got to see how he succeeds in this new system with Dave Canales, the former offensive coordinator for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, who got the head coaching job. But it's the Carolina Panthers are going to take a while to rebuild. I mean, you might as well just get a couple of draft picks up top. And it's like what the man from Soul says: in order to be good, you must become bad. If I'm the Carolina Panthers, I might as well just be bad again and build up more draft picks. Because, I mean, we're not going to rush the process with Bryce Young and sit here and say, well, he's good or he's not good. He's been in multiple systems so far, just like Baker Mayfield. So not a comparison, but we'll see how good Bryce Young is going to be. But it's going to be a long while for the Carolina Panthers.
All right, after Bryce Young at 20, a guy that you've always been very big on, and he's a young guy. Number 19, Bo Nix, quarterback, Denver Broncos. Nix had a strong rookie season, though. It was somewhat overshadowed by Jaden Daniels' historic campaign. If he can avoid the dreaded sophomore slump, the Broncos could be a serious threat in 2025. Bo Nix, number 19, Lambo. You think that's right? How do you feel about Bo Nix and the Broncos?
You could put him right there or you could put him higher. We'll see how the list goes, if he should be a little there or a little bit higher. Look, Bo Nix has been playing college football for 6 years. There's 2 years at Auburn and 4 years at Oregon. And, EA Sports Electronic Arts, Madden NFL 26. Look, Sean Payton taking the head coaching job for the Denver Broncos was the best decision he's ever made. Despite what happened with Russell Wilson, it wasn't that great. It wasn't a good fit. But at the end of the day, Bo Nix is the future of the NFL. I have a lot of confidence in Bo Nix. He's under the right coach of Sean Payton. I mean, Sean Payton coached a Super Bowl champion in Drew Brees, a Hall of Famer quarterback. Bo Nix is going to be just fine. Like I said, they're in a tough AFC West. You got the Raiders, you got the Broncos, you got the Chargers, and you got the Kansas City Chiefs. So in order for them to be successful in the playoffs, they're going to have to play those teams, one of those teams at least 3 times in the playoff, which you really try to avoid, but that just depends on the season. But look, Bo Nix is going to be just fine. He has weapons on the outside. They got a good old line. They got a good defense. They have a good offensive line. Don't be surprised if the LA Chargers and the Denver Broncos each win 10 games apiece.
Number 18 on the Pro Football Focus top 25 quarterbacks going into the NFL season. Tua, the Miami Dolphins. Tua might be the most polarizing quarterback in the league when comparing production to PFF grades. He put up strong numbers and grades in 2022 and 2023, but took a noticeable step back in 2024 after suffering another concussion in week 2. Lambo, Tua at 18. How do you feel about that?
Tua should be lower than 18. The Miami Dolphins underachieved last season. They went 8-9. I don't know if Mike McDaniel. I like Mike McDaniel, but I'm talking about as far as like the locker room. Are they tired of hearing his voice? Are they looking for a new voice? Look, Tua can only take them but so far. He has multiple injuries with concussions. I thought he should have retired the first time. But look, Tua doesn't really fit what Mike McDaniel wants to do offensively. Mike McDaniel's the former OC of the San Francisco 49ers. And they're running a West Coast system. And literally, the reason why he's, legit stats-wise is because he has Jalen Waddle and he has Tyreek Hill. So defensively, they were not good last year. I don't know if they got any better. They got Quinn Ewers as a 6th-round draft pick out of the University of Texas. So I wouldn't be surprised if Tua gets hurt, if Quinn Ewers gets some type of a start this year if he gets hurt. I'm not wishing that Tua gets hurt at all, but it's just I understand they paid him $53 million, I guess, based off stats and whatever he did. But look, the Miami Dolphins are going to be last in the division in the AFC East. We're going to have the Buffalo Bills at number 1, New England Patriots number 2, and the New York Jets at number 3. So Tua won't be as good. Take away Tyreek Hill and Jalen Waddle and see how good of a quarterback he's going to be.
Lambo, you got me?
Yes, sir. I can hear you.
Number 18. Okay, good. Number 17. Man, this name right here always gets people fired up. Dak Prescott. How do you feel about Dak Prescott, quarterback for the Dallas Cowboys, coming in at number 17?
Wow. Dak Prescott. All right, Dak Prescott, came out of the University of Mississippi. Look, the Dallas Cowboys were off to a bad start last year anyway. Yeah, Mississippi State, sorry. The Dallas Cowboys were off to a bad start anyway. Didn't they start off the season, 1-3 anyway? They were scoring points, but their defense couldn't stop nobody. Look, Dak Prescott is a regular season quarterback. He's not good in the playoffs. It's not much that really needs to be said. Now, I'm going to give Brian Schottenheimer some slack. I think he probably deserved to be a head coach a very long time ago. His famous dad, Marty Schottenheimer, Marty Ball. It's a good book to read. But look, I think it's for the Dallas Cowboys, for Dak Prescott and Brian Schottenheimer. It's more of a culture change. After Mike McCarthy got fired after 4 seasons. We'll see how good the Dallas Cowboys will be. The Dallas Cowboys will not be better than the Philadelphia Eagles, and I really hope the Washington Commanders are better than the Dallas Cowboys. They hadn't really improved. They won 7 games last year. Dak Prescott can rack up the stats. They got George. Did they get George Pickens too from the Dallas Cowboys? From Pittsburgh. They got George Pickens, I assume. Yeah, they got George Pickens. So, but who else did they have besides George Pickens and CeeDee Lamb? You got Michael Parsons. You got some old linemen that retired. The secondary is a C+, like what Kirk Wynn says. The Dallas Cowboys fan, the man from Colorado. So Dak Prescott at 17, it doesn't really matter. The reason why he's at 17 or 16 is because of the name brand, as you know, Troy. It's always about the name. America's team, the Dallas Cowboys. That is why he is sitting at number 17.
Number 16. Man, this guy, he's had some injuries. Trevor Lawrence, Jacksonville Jaguars. Trevor Lawrence might be the biggest wild card in this tier. The talent is undeniable, but he's yet to show the consistent level of play needed to elevate himself and the Jaguars into the NFL's elite. Trevor Lawrence, Lambo. What are your thoughts on Trevor Lawrence and Duval?
you are a better coach than Liam Cohen, and I'm not saying that in a disrespectful way. I'm just saying the way you said it was way more funny than when he said it because you are a funny guy, Coach Troy Taylor. But look, when it comes to Trevor Lawrence, give him. I know he's been in the league for 5-6 years. I think he needs a chance. He got Travis Hunter. I think Travis Hunter should play wide receiver. Congratulations to Trevor Lawrence. You just got a baby. You have a newborn daughter with your wife. Congratulations on that. Trevor Lawrence just needs another opportunity. I don't know if Liam Cohen will be the answer as far as offense. We'll have to see how that goes. But he's been banged up. He's not the only one that's been banged up. There's been some wide receivers they had in the past have been banged up. Some defensive guys that have been banged up. I don't know what to expect from the Jacksonville Jaguars. I know all the high school is surrounded from Travis Hunter out of the University of Colorado, but Travis Hunter can't do everything. Travis Hunter is not going to play both positions. He can't play corner and wide receiver for a long stability of time in the NFL. Like you said, the NFL stands for not for long.
Have a comment.
Go ahead. He said the best QB is Caleb Williams. That's the comment. Oh yeah. So based off Trevor Lawrence, we'll see how good he's going to be. But I don't have the expectation on Trevor Lawrence right now.
The best quarterback is Caleb Williams. Williams was way back.
Yes.
Lambo, can you hear me?
Yes, sir.
Check your phone and make sure it's on Wi-Fi. Because I don't know if it's my connection or yours.
My phone's on Wi-Fi.
Dude, man, my bad. Man, I've been running around since 1 o'clock just taking care of stuff for people, man. Good gosh.
That's okay. We're on Trevor Lawrence is number 16 for the Jacksonville Jaguars. And then number on the edit said that the best quarterback is Caleb Williams. So Trevor Lawrence, man from Seoul, coming in at number 16. What are your thoughts on Trevor Lawrence at 16?
I think he has a great chance to move up. I mean, coach is a little goofy, but you know what? He got Baker Mayfield playing good football. So, guys like him and Ben Johnson, maybe not your CEO types, but they're the new age quarterback whisperers. And I think that, you got to give him a year because that guy, he was only there a year with Baker because the previous coach got the job at Carolina. So, but he got Baker played good ball last year. And I think that, Trevor Lawrence has more tools in the shed than Baker Mayfield to me. So I think that gives, they have an opportunity. He has an opportunity to move up on this list because he's got a guy I think that can take him to the next level. And there's a lot of other things involved with that, with the team around him and all that stuff, because that defense, oh man, it was bad. It was bad. And I mean, it was so bad they knew it was bad. And they've got a couple drafts. I think they're a couple drafts and away in free agencies because they're void of talent down there in Jacksonville right now. As what it seems like, but I mean, I think he has a chance to move up this list.
Are you there, Troy?
Is he frozen?
Yes, he looks frozen. Justin Medley says, Coach Troy, it's your connection. Your picture keeps freezing. He's back now.
Yeah, it's my Wi-Fi, man. I'm sorry.
Your Wi-Fi.
Yeah, my Wi-Fi is bad, y'all. It's my fault. Yeah, my Wi-Fi is really bad, man. It's slow. Number 15, Kyler Murray, Arizona Cardinals. After multiple injury-plagued seasons, Murray finally stayed healthy in 2024 and delivered an 82.1 overall grade. Kyler Murray. What do you think, Lambo, about Kyler Murray?
I think piggyback off of what the man from Seoul said a couple weeks ago. I mean, we don't know what the Arizona Cardinals are going to do. You know, I guess it was in the draft or it was the team thing or whatever. I think Jonathan Gannon has something in the bag as far as for the team, but they play in the NFC West. You know, one of the second or third toughest divisions of football because you have the Rams in there, you have the 49ers in there, and the Seattle Seahawks. So I'm not sure how good the Cardinals will be this year. I think they're more of a defensive team, you know, with Johnny and Gannon being a former DC for the Philadelphia Eagles. But Kyler Murray at 15 and 14, I mean, you can make your own list about it. I think I'm not sure how long Kyler Murray is going to be with the Arizona Cardinals.
Paul, how do you feel about Kyler Murray coming in at number 15 on the top quarterbacks in the NFL going into the 2025 season?
I don't mind him. I like him. It's just the team. It's the to me, it's the team around him, man. It's just not good enough. And as Lambo said, I mean, Gannon got down there and turned around the defense a little bit, but it's just like there's something missing, man. I can't put my finger on it. Just I don't know.
They say he likes to play Call of Duty. He's a big video game guy.
Yeah, but that doesn't bother me. All these guys are video game guys. Heck, Lambo's a video game guy. All the guys that age are video game guys. But
number 14.
I don't know. So they're just blah to me. When I think of them, I don't think of anything that moves my needle. Like if the Cardinals were coming on TV and I was stuck in traffic, I wouldn't lose sleep over it. You know, I was like, man, it's just they're not a good fun watch team. It's just the fan base is kind of like this locals. I don't know. But I mean, as far as a player, I like Kyler Murray. Now those numbers, especially those touchdown numbers, they need to come up. Like he's got to be in the 30s, man. 21 touchdowns in 17 games. That's not going to get it done.
Number 14, CJ Stroud, Houston Texans. Stroud represented the cautionary tale for Jaden Daniels, a stellar rookie season followed by a sophomore slump. CJ Stroud, Lambo. Is
Look,
CJ Stroud back?
Is he back? Well, the Texans got a new offensive coordinator. They fired Bobby Stoic, I think, after the loss to the Kansas City Chiefs. They did sign a running back, but I mean, I like what D'Amico Ryans is doing, but I don't know if they're ready enough to beat the big teams in the AFC, like the Ravens or the Kansas City Chiefs or possibly the LA Chargers or the Cincinnati Bengals if the Bengals make the playoffs. I think CJ Stroud still has a lot of work to do in his game. He does have some shoulder soreness. I don't know how bad is it. I don't think it's that bad, but I think the pieces he has around him. They don't have Stephon Diggs no more. I think they still got Nico Collins, if I'm correct. Correct me if I'm wrong. But they offensively they got the pieces. They got the O-line pieces. The defense has been well solid. We'll just have to see how CJ Stroud is going to be this season with the new offensive coordinator.
Paul, what do you think about CJ Stroud being ranked number 14 on the top 20?
Number 14. Well, I you know what? I want, first of all, I can't wait to see who's ahead of him because one, I don't think he particularly had a slumpish year. And a lot of the end of the season stuff had a lot to do with the receivers going down. I mean, he was down to like one guy at some points during the end of last season, but he was solid. And the fact that they made the playoffs in a conference that it's pretty tough to get in to the final seven. They were in there. I mean, what more could you ask from the guy? You know, I mean, take the leap and get the one seed. That's not. I mean, that's realistic, but it's not realistic to say that he slumped. They made the playoffs. You know, I mean, good sophomore season actually. When you compare it to the sophomore season of the guys that did go through a slump. And there's going to be some natural regression because, again, people's got game film. But he fought through that and got to the playoffs. So kudos to him. Like I said, he's 14. There's 13 guys ahead of him. I can't wait to see who they are. And it better.
Number 13, Jared Colucci says, "What's good?" Jared, thank you for being here with Totem Pole, going over the top 25 NFL quarterbacks going into the season.
You the real MVP.
You're the real MVP. Baker Mayfield, Tampa Bay Buccaneers, number 13. Mayfield has pulled off a remarkable career turnaround. After bouncing back in 2023, he believed the best season of his career in 2024, earning an 85.9 overall grade. He'll now be working with his third offensive coordinator in 3 years for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. We have a comment. Janet, hi, my name is Silas Setlock. That is awesome. Lambo, what are your feelings? I wish we had Coach Bald on, season ticket holder of the Buccaneers, to talk about Baker Mayfield. Do you think Baker should be 13?
Oh yes, Baker Mayfield is definitely he turned his career around. You know, he had a couple struggles with the Browns, couple struggles with the Panthers. I thought he had a very good stint with the Rams, despite them going 5-12 after winning the Super Bowl. I thought he had some flashes, but here with the Buccaneers, he has the pattern with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. And I like the way what Todd Bowles is establishing that culture there too. It's not really just Baker Mayfield, but I like what Todd Bowles is really doing after taking over the head coach for Bruce Arians. But Baker Mayfield, he still got Chris Godwin. He still got Mike Evans. He has a great tight end. The run game kind of wasn't as good last year, but their run game is going to step up even more. Despite all the offensive coordinators he has, he's still finding a way to prove us wrong. He's in the correct system with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers.
All right, we have some comments. Janet says CJ Stroud is better. Jared said Baker has a new wide receiver. So Baker Mayfield, number 13. Janet said the Eagles. The Eagles. Fly, Eagles fly. Man from Seoul.
Fly where?
Man from
Yes, sir.
Seoul.
Yeah.
How do you feel about Baker Mayfield? Smiley face, Baker Mayfield should be higher. How do you feel about Baker at number 13?
Solid. That's solid. Yeah, because he's to me he's kind of like Stroud in the sense that he didn't slump, because I mean he's been in the league for a minute, but he just went through 2 different offensive coordinators in 2 years, and he had 2 solid back-to-back campaigns and made the playoffs. So, great redemption story, because I didn't think it would happen. I didn't think he could come back from the dead or quarterback purgatory, but he did, and he's found a home there, and they like him, and he's playing well.
Number 12. This one's a little surprising for me. Thank you for everybody tuning in. Jordan Love, Green Bay Packers. When ranking quarterbacks in this tier, it's almost a dart throw trying to predict the level of play you'll get. So number 12, Lambo, for the Green Bay Packers, Jared Love.
Jordan Love is not a bad quarterback. I like Jordan Love. He has things he has to improve on, but we have to remember last year, if I'm correct, he did get what's the deal? Did he play through an injury, or was he out for like 3 weeks at one point after that Eagles game?
Yeah, he got banged up in the Eagles game.
Last year he was.
Yeah, so he got banged up. So for his stats up there, it's not bad after getting banged up. Look, after moving on from Aaron Rodgers, Matt LaFleur knows what to do with quarterbacks, and Jordan loves, and it's what the man from Seoul has said multiple times, the pattern of sitting behind quarterbacks for 3-4 years, getting the development. He didn't have a bad year. The Green Bay Packers just had injuries with him. Some wide receivers were hurt, and I think some key defensive guys were hurt when they played Philadelphia in the playoff game. So I mean, Philadelphia just had the better team than Green Bay. But Green Bay is not a bad team. They're consistent. They make the playoffs. I mean, Matt LaFleur averages, I think, the first 3 years at least 13 or 11 wins, 11 or 13. So it's not bad. It's just that the teams in their division have gotten better. The Detroit Lions have gotten better. We'll see if the Chicago Bears get better, and also the Minnesota Vikings were the better teams. But I like Jordan Love.
We got some comments. Smiley Face 67 said Jordan Love is not better than Baker. Janet said I subbed. Thank you, Janet. Thank you, Smiley Face. This is for you. Smiley Face 67 said Baker had more passing yards than passing touchdowns and a higher passer rating. Paul, what do you think about Jordan Love?
I think he's better than Baker Mayfield, and I think CJ Stroud should be ahead of Baker Mayfield as well, because I just look at it this way. If we redrafted all these quarterbacks, I would definitely take those two before him. And this is age and material, just based off of talent and upside, and can you take me to the big game? I'm taking those two guys before Baker Mayfield. So I think, again, he's number 12. I got to see who's.
By the way, breaking news: the Packers just released Jair Alexander.
Wow. Janet said, he. Smiley, thank you for subbing. Jared, new sub for you guys. That is amazing. Jordan Love. Continuing on with the PFF quarterbacks. Top quarterbacks in NFL, number 11. Brock Purdy, San Francisco 49ers. Purdy may be a product of the system and surrounding talent, but he still led one of the NFL's most efficient offenses over the past 3 seasons. Lambo, how do you feel about Brock Purdy coming in at number 11?
Brock Purdy could be a little bit higher, but I guess based off last year, they had a lot of injuries. Last year, they were 6-10 after making the Super Bowl last year. So they had a 6-10, 7-10 season. They had a bunch of injuries last year. Debo is gone. Debo's with the Washington Commanders. I guess they Ayuk. I guess they signed Ayuk if I'm correct. Their running backs are very banged up. George Kittle is still going to be George Kittle. But a lot of things just went wrong for the 49ers last year. I'm glad that the 49ers organization didn't, panic and say, oh, let's fire, Shanahan, because normally after you go to the Super Bowl, you have one of those seasons where you're not as good as you were before. I had really high hopes for the 49ers to make it back to the NFC Championship game, but clearly I was wrong. But look, Brock Purdy is what he does. He doesn't turn the ball over. He's a game manager. He just had more turnovers this year than he had the first 3 years. He does deserve to get paid, and I like Brock Purdy, and I like what Kyle Shanahan is doing with the 49ers. The 49ers will make a comeback in the playoffs this year. They're not missing the playoffs back-to-back.
Number 10. I'm a little surprised by this. Geno Smith, Las Vegas Raiders. Few would have pegged Smith to grade as the 6th best passer in the NFL over the past 2 seasons. But here we are. In fact, his 85.8 passing grade in that span is just 0.2 points shy of Patrick Mahomes. Number 10 on the PFF, Pro Football Focus, top quarterbacks going into the Smith. Lambo,
Geno,
what do you think about that?
Okay, well, Geno Smith did what he did with the Seahawks. He didn't turn the ball. He had some turnovers, but the Seahawks team was based off, defense and running the ball, especially under first-year head coach Mac McDonald after Pete Carroll, I guess you could say, accidentally retired, or they just moved on from him in general. Geno to the Raiders. I like what Pete Carroll is doing, bringing in a quarterback that you had in the past before. They're just going to run the ball and play defense. Geno Smith is the right guy to win games. As far as getting the playoffs or nothing, they're in the AFC West, so it's going to be very tough for them to make the playoffs in that conference. But week 1, they do play a new energetic defense in the New England Patriots, so we'll see how he does. I like Geno Smith. He's not a bad quarterback to me at all, but it's better than what the Raiders had last year, dealing with O'Connell and all these other guys. So I think Geno is the best decision as far as the veteran that they have. I don't know how many years he has left to play, but maybe at least 2.
Geno Smith. Now we're in our top 10. And Janet, thank you for commenting, saying what's up. Jared saying what's up, Janet. Janet saying nothing much. Jared Salucci, AFC West will be better. Lambo,
Yes.
talk a little bit about the AFC West. Will the AFC West in the NFL be better this year?
Oh, yes. Because of all the talent that you have. You have 3 talented quarterbacks in that division. Bo Nix, Justin Herbert, and Patrick Mahomes. EA Sports Electronic Arts Madden NFL 26. There's a lot of talent, and you got a lot of good head coaches. Look at the 3 head coaches: Jim Harbaugh, Andy Reid, Sean Payton. You have a lot of talent in the AFC West. Look, Only 2 teams make the playoffs out of the division because the NFC West is stacked either way. Because normally you have 3 teams in the NFC North that make the playoffs. And I think it's going to be impossible to have 3 teams from the AFC West make the playoffs unless there's somebody in the AFC East or whatever that has 1 team that makes the playoffs. So the AFC is more stacked as far as talent-wise than the NFC.
Janet said, what is your favorite NFL team? I used to be a Commanders fan or Redskins fan. Lambo, who's your favorite NFL team?
The New England Patriots.
Julian Martinez, Coach Troy. What's up, Julian? Thank you for coming on. I'm going to give you a helmet sticker. We're talking about the top quarterbacks in the NFL. Thank you, Totem Pole Nation, for hiring me and Lambo back. Jared Salucci said, Janet, my favorite team is the Detroit Lions. Lambo, talking a little bit about the Detroit Lions.
Detroit Lions
have a lot of respect for their franchise.
The Detroit Lions are turning around a program. You got Dan Campbell, who was a tight end in the NFL. He was a former assistant coach for the New Orleans Saints. He was the interim head coach for the Miami Dolphins in 2015, I guess, when Joe Philbin got fired. He just has grit. He's really a player's coach. He says what he has to say. He doesn't sugarcoat anything. And look, the Detroit Lions are better off than what they were in the 1990s. They were a lot better than when they had Barry Sanders. No disrespect to Barry Sanders. He's a Hall of Famer, but they were a lot better now than what they have. Jared Goff has also turned around that franchise as well. But look, it's going to be harder for them to get back into the deep run of the playoffs. It's going to be
Lambo, number 9 on our list, Jared Goff. What a great segue. Janet said no cap. Jared said they had a great 2023 season, won 2 playoff games. Man, so number 9 on our list, Lambo, Jared Goff. You think he deserves to be number 9?
Oh, yes. He deserves to be number 9. Look what Jared Goff has been through. Jared Goff has been through a lot. He's been through a lot. Go to the Super Bowl with the Rams in year 3, year 2 of head coach Sean McVay. Then, they had some, make the playoff losses. He got traded for Matthew Stafford for a couple first-round picks. It's a smart trade by the Detroit Lions. The Detroit Lions definitely won that trade. Both teams technically won that trade because, the Rams ended up winning the Super Bowl. So, look, Jared Goff is in the right place. I love what he's doing. But Detroit scores a lot of points. The OC is the head coach for the reason for the Chicago Bears. They got a new OC and a new defensive coordinator. I'm not saying he's going to have a downward slump. I think his numbers are going to be fine. But for the Detroit Lions, like I said, it's going to be harder for them to make a deep run into the playoffs because I thought they should have beat the Commanders, but they just had a lot of turnovers. Janet said he's not 9th. He is number 4. Wow. So I like to say, thank you for Totem Pole Nation for, tuning in. Thank you for tuning in. Like I said, there's not a better place that you could be at that's better than Totem Pole Nation because we help others, we change lives, and we build champions. Wyatt Berry says, "Hey y'all, how is it going?" And to help Coach Troy Taylor, I'm going to share my screen to see if my Wi-Fi works any better.
Can you hear
I
me?
just want to. Yes, sir.
Yeah, I think I
I'm gonna
unplugged my
upload
mic.
on mine to see if it works.
I think I had too many things plugged into my computer, man. I unplugged my mic. I think it might work better now. Number 8 on our list of top quarterbacks coming into the 2025 season, Justin Herbert, Los Angeles Chargers. Wyatt, hey y'all, how's it going? It's going great. We've had a lot of technical difficulties in this stream, but we're going over the top quarterbacks going into the 2025 season. We're on number 8 right now. We've gone through all 32. Herbert might be the best regular season quarterback in non-clutch situations. His 91 overall grade over the past 3 seasons ranked 6th. And when excluding playoff performances, his passing grade actually tops Patrick Mahomes. So Lambo,
yes.
How do you feel? How do you feel about Justin Herbert?
Man, I love me some Justin Herbert. I love Justin Herbert, quarterback out of Oregon. Look, Justin Herbert under former head coach Brandon Staley had put up tremendous numbers too. He's only thrown 3. Look at the numbers. He's thrown 3 interceptions. That's all you need to know. Jim Harbaugh coming into his second year. I told y'all that the LA Chargers was going to win 11 games last year, and they won 11 games. Jim Harbaugh is going to turn around that program. He's going to have a great second year. They got 2 running backs, Najee Harris and Omarion Hampton out of the University of North Carolina. Justin Herbert's going to be fine. Justin Herbert's going to be great. But when it comes to the Chargers, like I said, they're playing in the AFC West. And the goal is to beat the Kansas City Chiefs. They should have beat the Houston Texans last year, but they had a lot of turnovers as well. But look, Justin Herbert's a great, solid quarterback. He's big. He's 6'5". I think he's 6'4", 6'5". You know, he can run. But, here's Jim Harbaugh's game. If you watch Jim Harbaugh's game, what he did in Michigan, especially with J.J. McCarthy and other quarterbacks, they're going to run the ball. They're going to ground and pound it. And then, they'll put them in correct situations throughout the game to say, hey, if we need to throw the ball, we're throwing the ball. But they're not a throw-first team. They're going to ground and pound. And that's why they have 2 big running backs like they had Blake Corum and Donovan Edwards.
Janet says, I like the Eagles. Wyatt, can't stay long. I got team workout. See y'all later. Thank you, Janet. Thank you, Jared. Jared said Jim Harbaugh has a second great year wherever he goes. Janet said, I like the Eagles. No glaze. So Herbert, I've always liked Herbert too, man. Number 7, Matthew Stafford. Stafford isn't coming off his best season. His 74.7 overall grade in 2024 reflects that. But what keeps him in this upper tier is his complete command of the Rams offense.
Can
you hear me?
Yes, sir. With Matthew.
Yeah, we're having technical difficulties, aren't we, Lambo?
Yes, sir. With Matthew Stafford, I had the Rams beating the Eagles. I had the Rams beating the Eagles in that playoff game, and they should have beat them. They missed a couple opportunities, but look, the Rams are very up and down. The Rams really went off to a bad start. The first part of the season, they went off to a bad start, and they finished off very strong. Sean McVay knows how to. Sean McVay has his magic ways with quarterbacks. He's done it with Baker Mayfield in one losing season he's had. But the Rams, like I said, the Rams play in a really tough division. Cooper Kupp is no longer there, I don't think. Cooper Kupp got traded. Was Cooper Kupp with the Tennessee Titans now? Or no, Seattle Seahawks. Excuse me. My fault. Seattle Seahawks. So Cooper Kupp is no longer there. They still have Puka Nacua.
See you, Jan.
I think they drafted very well. I'm not sure how many more years Matthew Stafford has. I think he did renegotiate his contract. I don't know if this is his potentially last year in the NFL or if he has 2 or 3 more years left in the tank. I think he has at least 2. I don't know if he has 4 because he's getting older. He's been in the league since 2009. So this could be his last year in the NFL.
Linda.
Yes, I forgot about the Devontae Adams. I totally forgot about that. I forgot they got Devontae Adams.
Thank you, Linda. Dario. Hey, Coach Lambo and Coach Taylor. I just came in here and I just wanted to ask a question. What foods D tackles should eat in everyday basis? I would say a lot of protein. What do you say, Coach Lambo?
I would eat healthy. I would eat salads, protein, like you said. I think the best thing to eat to keep the calories down is beef and broccoli. That's only 180 calories.
You're a big beef and broccoli guy.
Not really. I just,
Number
not really.
6.
Not really.
Not really. Number 6. Jaden Daniels, the Washington Commanders. Jaden Daniels in at number 6. Perhaps we're crowning Daniels a bit too early, as plenty of quarterbacks have had standout rookie seasons only to regress in year 2. But what separates Daniels is his poise under pressure and in clutch moments late in the year. Lambo, what do you think about Jared says Jaden Daniels had a fantastic rookie year? What do you think about Jaden Daniels being rated number 6 in the NFL by Pro Football Focus?
Excuse me. Jane Daniels has proved everybody wrong. And you said it yourself. Me and you watched the high school tape on Jaden Daniels and knew he was going to be something special. 2 years he played at Arizona State under head coach Herm Edwards. Then he transferred to LSU and plays under head coach Brian Kelly. But I think Joe Brady was still the OC. No, I think he left. But Jaden Daniels just has so much, he could run, he could throw, he's accurate. Commander fans should be very, very happy. We should be very happy and very proud. I was at that game against the Eagles, and y'all went crazy. Y'all are so passionate about the Commanders. Y'all finally got new management. You no longer have Dan Snyder. You have a good quarterback. You have great wide receivers. You have a solid defense, and you have a solid head coach in Dan Quinn, which Paul Manley likes to say, a hat backwards guy. So at the end of the day, Jaden Daniels is going to be great. He's going to be fine. He's going to be legit. I have a lot of high hopes of the Commanders, but I don't think he'll have a slump. I just don't think the team will go back to the NFC Championship game because the schedule is a little bit tougher than what it was last year.
Dario George Joseph, if I play guard center, but I'm more of a D tackle, how should I handle that? We think you should play both ways. Get on the field and make plays. Lambo, what are your thoughts?
If you're trying to play college football, you're going to have to play both ways. You can't just play guard and center. He's going to make you play everything depending on the organization. And then if you're more a D, I'm a D tackle. They might make you play defensive end. So just play all positions of whatever the coach asks you to do.
Amen. Number 5, Jalen Hurts, the Super Bowl winning Philadelphia Eagles. Jalen Hurts' 2024 campaign, capped by an impressive Super Bowl run, was a return to form after a turbulent 2023 season. Lambo, what do you think of Daniel quarterbacks according to Pro Football Focus?
Jalen Daniels I'm not Jalen Daniels. Jalen Hurts can probably Jalen Hurts can probably be up a little bit higher. Jalen Hurts has been to a Super Bowl, number 1. Number 2, they had the best offensive line in football, the Jeff Stoutland Academy. Number 3, Nick Sirianni is a player's coach. He's found a way. They got great wide receivers, A.J. Brown, Devontae Smith. And number 4, they got Saquon Barkley. Saquon Barkley was the best addition. The Giants gifted the Eagles a Super Bowl and said, go to the division rival, and they win the Super Bowl with Saquon Barkley. Their defensive line was great. Vic Fangio, the defensive coordinator, was just astounding. I mean, he was putting pressure on the Chiefs. The Chiefs' O-line was looking very bad. We all picked the Kansas City Chiefs to win the Super Bowl, but clearly when we watched that game, they were different. Jalen Hurts could throw the ball. He's proven guys wrong. I wouldn't be surprised if the Eagles go back to the Super Bowl again. They did lose some key guys in free agency. One of them did go to the Patriots, and the others went somewhere else. But I think they had a great draft, and Jalen Hurts probably should be above. Jalen Hurts should be above top 5, depending on who the other quarterbacks are ranging from number 4 to number 1 in the Pro Football Focus.
Man, I'm not gonna add the pictures up there anymore because I think that has something to do with it. I could be wrong. Number 4, Josh Allen, Buffalo Bills. Allen's 95.4 overall grade over the past 3 seasons ranks first among all quarterbacks. His 91.4 passing grade in that span is 3rd behind Burrow and Lamar Jackson. Dario George says, I'm getting in contact with Larry White, y'all's assistant coach, JV coach, and we are both talking, and he's a good coach. Yes, he is. He's a great man. He's a great person, Coach White. So Josh Allen, Lambo, how do you feel about him being number 4?
Well, with the Buffalo Bills, I mean, without Stephon Diggs, they had Mac No Shoes Hollins. They had some other key pieces. James Cook was very good for them this year. Dawson Knox, the tight end. The only thing that's holding them back from Josh Allen is not beating the teams that are supposed to be in the playoffs. They didn't lose to the Chiefs this year. They beat them. They lost to Baltimore. They lost to the Chiefs. My bad. I'm thinking about the Ravens. I apologize. But they got to be able to beat the Chiefs when it really matters. And
we got some comments. We got some comments, Lambo. Jared Salucci says the one thing that is holding Josh Allen back is beating Kansas City in the playoffs. Linda says the next 4 quarterbacks you put up, Jalen Hurts has beat them all head-to-head, beating Mahomes the last 2 times they met, including the Super Bowl. That's a great point, Linda. We totally agree. These guys at PFF, they don't know what they're doing. Matthew B., I'm a Cowboys fan. I think we're going to suck this year. So, Lambo, would you like to talk a little bit about what Jared says about Josh Allen? Have you ever – yeah. And do you agree with Linda about Jalen Hurts? And then do you think the Cowboys are going to be terrible?
Cowboys are going to be bad. Their secondary is terrible. Dak Prescott's a regular season quarterback. They play the Eagles game 1. I don't know if they have any depth to beat good teams. The thing about Josh Allen, he's a great regular season quarterback, but in the playoffs, he tends to, fold or whatever happens to him. I don't know if it's a curse or not. And then the next 4 QBs you put up, Jalen Hurts has beat them all head to head. Mahomes the last 2 Super Bowls, including the Super Bowl. Jalen Hurts is not up there yet. We will have to see the list of who's the next 3 quarterbacks. If it's Lamar Jackson, I think Jalen Hurts is better than Lamar Jackson as far as being a passer. He's a better passer than Lamar Jackson.
Do you think that Josh Allen can get it done in Buffalo?
Look,
Bill Mafia in the house.
Let's be honest. The Buffalo Bills went to 4 straight Super Bowls under Marv Levy as the head coach and Jim Kelly as the quarterback. They went to 4 straight Super Bowls and lost. And then the Buffalo Bills weren't good after that at all. They were terrible. And then they weren't good again for like 20 plus years. So, look, Sean McDermott is doing what he's doing. He's a defensive guy. He was a former defensive coordinator, I think, for the Carolina Panthers when they went to the Super Bowl. So, look, he's doing what he can do best, but it's hard. It's hard. When you go against the Chiefs, it's nightmares. It's that trauma in his head. But he deserved a contract extension, and Josh Allen is a Buffalo Bill for life.
Number 3 on the Pro Football Focus top quarterbacks going into the 2025 NFL season. Number 3, Lamar Jackson, Baltimore Ravens. Lamar Jackson is coming off the best season of his career and one of the highest graded quarterback campaigns in Pro Football Focus history, finishing 2024 with a 94.9 overall grade. The 2-time NFL MVP remains the most dynamic player at the position, blending elite arm talent with unmatched rushing ability. Lambo, how do you feel about Lamar Jackson coming in at number 3? Jared says Lamar Jackson is a 3-5 quarterback in the playoffs.
Lamar Jackson has talent. He's a great runner. He was on the cover of EA Sports Electronic Arts Madden NFL 21. Lamar Jackson has great upside when it comes to the regular season. He can run. He's accurate at times. But when it comes to the playoffs, he turns the ball over. And I keep saying this about the Ravens. You get your high hopes up about going to a Super Bowl, but when you watch the game, you should have beat the Bills. But you turn the ball over. Like, the ball's on the ground, you throw 2 interceptions. So you cost your team the game. Lamar Jackson is not better than Jalen Hurts at all. I think Jalen Hurts is a better quarterback than Lamar Jackson. Jalen Hurts has been in 2 Super Bowl appearances. Lamar hasn't even reached the AFC Championship game. Or no,
Matthew
he hasn't reached the Super Bowl.
Matthew B said Lamar Jackson of the Ravens is good, but he's got a tight end that screwed them out of the Super Bowl. Jared says they should have won the 2023 AFC Championship game. Do you agree with these comments, Lambo? From Matthew B. Thank you very much for commenting. This is an excellent group of like-minded individuals that have a passion for football. And you guys know what y'all are talking about. Jared Salucci, they should have won the 2023 AFC Championship.
I don't think the tight end screwed them out of the Super Bowl. Turned the ball over earlier in the game that got him in that situation. It was the same thing in week 1 when they played the Chiefs. When you have certain turnovers or when you don't run the ball you're supposed to, you get yourself in the 3rd and 10 situation and you force Lamar Jackson to throw the ball and get a completion off 3rd and 10 or more. It just doesn't work like that. And the second one, they should have won the 2023 AFC Championship game. I think the Terminator might have said that best a couple years ago. Coulda, woulda, shoulda. Coulda, woulda, shoulda. If you don't score any points and your defense doesn't give up anything, you don't score any points, that's still not good, which means the Chiefs played a better game than the Ravens defense.
Number 2 on the top quarterbacks going into the 2025 NFL season, according to Pro Football Focus. Joe Burrow, quarterback for the Cincinnati Bengals. The only real knock on Joe Burrow is that he hasn't entered a season at full strength in years. But when he's right, there may be no better. Burrow's 93.5 passing grade and 95.2 overall grade over the past 3 seasons lead all quarterbacks, and his 51.3% success rate over that span ties Josh Allen for second best in the league. If the Cincinnati Bengals can field even a league average defense, Joe Burrow would give them a real shot at winning the AFC this year. Jared Salucci says Joe Cool has been to a Super Bowl. Yes, he has. Lambo, what do you think about Joe Cool? Matthew B's got a comment here. They got the offense, but their defense was just horrible last year and will probably be this year because they just released their main linebacker, Jermaine Pratt. They have Al Golden, defensive coordinator from Notre Dame, coming in. He's a former linebacker coach with the Bengals. Lambo, what do you think about Joe Burrow at number 2 in the Cincinnati Bengals?
Well, clearly Patrick Mahomes is still the best quarterback in the NFL. I like Joe Burrow at number 2. Joe Burrow has – the media was comparing Joe Burrow to Tom Brady when he was in college. I'm not going to say he's a Tom Brady guy, but he has a good pocket presence. He's accurate. He can get in and out the pocket. He just got to stay healthy. He still has Jamar Chase at wide receiver. I think they re-signed T. Higgins. I don't think T. Higgins is going anywhere. My only issue is that the Trey Henderson contract. I don't know if they're going to sign him long term. That is my problem. I don't know if you're going to sign him long term. Your defense, like Matthew B said, your defense was terrible last year. You were able to score points, but what the problem was with the Bengals, you were going off the very slow starts, and you're in the AFC North. Now you got to face Aaron Rodgers. If Aaron Rodgers is what Aaron Rodgers is, you will have to face Aaron Rodgers. You got to face Lamar Jackson. And Cleveland is not going to be easy. I don't know who the quarterback's going to be, but if I'm the Cincinnati Bengals, you got to win quickly.
Hoop Edits says, W coaches. Hoop Edits, this is for you.
Woo!
You're the real MVP, Hoop Edits. Number 1. We've had a lot of technical difficulties in this stream, and I apologize. It was all my fault. We're still almost at 1,000 views. So like the stream, spam the heart emoji. We're at 966 views. We will get over 1,000 views on this stream. Matthew B. Henderson and Jermaine Pratt should be Cowboys soon. Lambo, what do you think about that? Is Matthew B onto something? Henderson and Jermaine Pratt should be Dallas Cowboys soon.
I don't know. I don't know how much cap space the Dallas Cowboys have because you're paying Dak Prescott $60 million per year. So if you sign them to veteran minimums, but I don't think they're veteran minimum guys. So I don't know how much cap space the Dallas Cowboys have.
HB Prods, call me biased, but I think Jalen Hurts is the best all-around quarterback in the NFL right now. Jalen Hurts, I believe, was 5 on this list, and we're getting ready to go number 1. So HB Prods, thank you. Jared, how do you feel about the new Cowboys head coach? Jared, let us know in the comments, how do y'all feel about Coach Schottenheimer? Lambo, how do you feel about Coach Schottenheimer, the new head coach of the Jerry Jones-led Dallas Cowboys?
I've been a big fan of him. Yeah, y'all keep forgetting that he was offensive coordinator when Rex Ryan and the New York Jets was in the AFC Championship games. He was offensive coordinator. Their style with Mark Sanchez was to run the ball first. They had LaDainian Tomlinson. They had some guys at defense first. Brian Schottenheimer finally got a chance to be the head coach. Finally, after long stints with the OC with the Jets and the Seattle Seahawks and other teams. I think it was the quarterback coach for the Dallas Cowboys before he became the OC, because Kellen Moore was there first. So, look, he got a chance to be the head coach. You're going to have to give him some time, but I think he'll be prepared because his dad, Marty Schottenheimer, he's a legend. He's going to get a lot of advice from him this season.
I think he's passed away, Lambo.
He's not alive no more?
No. HB prods, Jerry Jones needs to be fired. I'm a fan of the Eagles, but he makes the worst decisions. The Dallas Cowboys could very well be a playoff team without him. Jared says, I give him 5 out of 10 stars. So, HB prods. Lambo, do you agree with HB prods? Is it time for Jerry Jones to be put out of business in Dallas?
Yes. And I was going to keep it at that.
Jerry's world. All right, number 1 in the PFF, Pro Football Focus top quarterbacks going into the 2025 season. Number 1, according to Pro Football Focus, Patrick Mahomes, quarterback, Kansas City Chiefs. Mahomes still holds the top spot, but the margin has never been slimmer. His passing grade over the past 2 seasons sits at 86, a strong number, but a step below the elite level we saw from 2018 through 2022. The supporting cast hasn't always helped, particularly at receiver, but it's fair to say his otherworldly level of play we saw from him from 2018 to 2022 is starting to get further and further away in the rearview mirror. That said, no one blends poise, playmaking, and postseason performance like Mahomes, which is why he remains at number 1 entering 2025, even if the field is closer than ever. We have some comments here, Lambo. Jared says Patrick is the clutch in the moments. Matthew, take Jerry and Steven away from the Cowboys. Mahomes, here he is.
It's got to be a mentality. Yes, sir. So when you come out here, you're ready to dominate.
It's got to be a mentality, Lambo. What do you think about Mahomie? Patrick Mahomes being number 1.
This is not shocking. Patrick Mahomes has an arm. He's the most talented quarterbacks of all time. He's more talented than Aaron Rodgers. He will be more talented than Aaron Rodgers. I don't know if he is right now, but in the future, he will be more talented than Aaron Rodgers. Look, he had 2 bad Super Bowl appearances, one against the Bucs and one last year. But look, you can't win the Super Bowl every year. But the Kansas City Chiefs, they're going to be back. I don't know if they're going to be back in the Super Bowl because I don't know. It's going to be very hard. Travis Kelce did think about retiring, but I think he is coming back for at least 1 more year. I don't know how many years Travis Kelce does have left. They no longer have Tyreek Hill, but I think the adjustments they made in the NFL draft was to get some offensive linemen because their offensive line got blown up pretty bad. And they're also going to make adjustments on the secondary side. So Patrick Mahomes, he's doing racking up stats. He's accurate. He's going to win games. Y'all keep saying Patrick Mahomes is better than Tom Brady. I don't think he is, but we'll see what he does in the next 5 to 10 years of his career.
HB prods. We got quite a few comments. Thank you for commenting, Totem Pole Nation. Jared, I disagree with you in that. Patrick Mahomes was in the Super Bowl and put on arguably one of the worst quarterback performances of all time. HB Prod says, I'm not saying he's not talented, but he's not the best in the NFL. That title belongs to Josh Allen. Baloney Sauce Prod says, hey, what's up, Baloney? Jared, their O-line was terrible. Baloney Sauce Prod said, I agree. Okay, so in the chat, put your top 3 guys. 1, 2, 3. 1, this guy. 2, this guy. 3, this guy. Lambo, who's your top 3 in the NFL? PFF had Lamar Jackson 3, Joe Burrow 2, Patrick Mahomes 1. Baloney says, I agree. Clips prods. I think Patty is the best right now, but tomorrow is better. Nice. HB Prod said 1, Josh Allen. Matthew B said Tom Brady is way better than Patrick Mahomes. HB Prod said 2, Burrow. Who's your top 3? Lambo. HB Prod said 3, Patty Mahomes.
Give me Patrick Mahomes. Give me Joe
Patrick
Burrow.
Mahomes 1.
Yep, Joe Burrow number 2. And give me that's number 3. Let me do Jalen Hurts at number 3.
All right, here we go. Clips prods. 1, Tom Brady. Okay, this is the guys going into the 2025 season, but I understand you put Tom Brady 1. 2, Patty Mahomes. 3, Lamar. Jared, 1st Patrick, 2, Joe Burrows. 3, Josh Allen. Baloney, 1, Josh. 2, Lamar. 3, Mahomes. Hoop edits. Number 1, Patrick Mahomes. 2, Lamar Jackson. 3, Joe Burrow. HB Prods, I have a question for y'all. Who do you think is better, Jalen Hurts or Jaden Daniels? I say Jalen Hurts.
Jalen Hurts, because Jaden Daniels ain't played in the NFL long enough yet.
You know, there's always something in the back of my mind that says Nick Saban didn't start Jalen Hurts over Tua. There's always something in the back of my mind that Nick Saban pulled Jalen Hurts out of the national championship to put Tua in. So Jaden Daniels, to me, reminds me of Randall Cunningham. Matthew B. Josh 1, but I know where you're coming with that HB Prods. Jalen Hurts was a heck of a player last year. He's a heck of a player through his whole career, really. Josh at 1, Mahomes at 2, and Burrow at 3. Man. Lambo, how do you feel about Totem Pole Nation? How do you feel about who's really the best quarterback in the NFL 2025 rankings? We had a lot of adversity. We overcame it. We're still over 1,000 views on the stream. Thank you. We're at 1.1 thousand views. How do you feel?
We just keep getting better each and every day. You know, Totem Pole Nation is about faith, family, and football, and the future of content creation. So we just keep on getting better. We do appreciate y'all for being here because, you know, where's another place you can be but here at Totem Pole Nation? We help others. We change lives. We build champions.
Jalen Hurts was injured in the Natty. Tua was put in and ended up showing out in that game. I'm not sure when Jalen transferred. Correct me if I'm wrong, though. He stayed for a season at Alabama, and then he went. Yeah, he stayed one more season after he got pulled in the Natty. He was a backup. He still won the SEC championship because Tua got hurt, and then he went to Oklahoma. Baloney, do you guys think C.J. Stroud will do good this year without Diggs? Dude, I think C.J. Stroud ain't been the same since he started hanging with Amber Rose. Man, there's like curses out there, dude. Stay away from the Kardashians. Stay away from these video vixens. So, Lambo, do you guys think C.J. Stroud will do good this year without Diggs?
We're going to have to see. They got a new offensive coordinator, so we're going to have to see. You know, they got Nico Collins. They got Tank Dell. I think they still got Dalton Schultz. But, I mean, those guys, they've been, you know, they had some injuries last year on the wide receiver side. We'll see how they do. They got a new offensive coordinator, so we'll see how they put it together on film.
Jared, NFC North, you guys think it will be a dogfight? Lambo, school us up on the NFC North.
Well, you got the Chicago Bears, the Green Bay Packers, the Detroit Lions, and I forgot the other team. It'll pop in my head in a second. But the NFC North is a dogfight division now. It's really
The Bears. Aren't the Bears in the North?
I said the Bears. I said the Lions. I said
Green
the
Bay and Vikings.
Viking. Yeah, I'm missing the Vikings. So yeah, that division is going to be a dogfight. The Vikings with Kevin O'Connell, he knows what to do with quarterbacks. Matt LaFleur has been very consistent with Jordan Love, and then you got Dan Campbell and Jared Goff. So you got a lot of quarterback talent up in the NFC North. So who I think is going to win the NFC North this year? It'd probably be between the Detroit Lions or the Minnesota Vikings.
Okay, so it's the Bears, Lions, Green Bay, and Vikings. I'm going with the Packers. Hoop Edits, W, Totem Pole Nation. Hoop Edits. You're the real MVP, Hoop Edits. Matthew B, who do you think signs Jalen Ramsey? Who do you think, Matthew? Who do you think, Lambo? He was with the Dolphins last, right?
Yeah, but I don't know what will be a good fit as far as Jalen Ramsey. Like, do you want to go to a contender to win a Super Bowl? Like what's the fit though? I don't know what the fit is.
He's going to go to the Titans. He's going back home. He's from Nashville. He's going to go play for the Titans. That's my prediction.
I just don't know yet. I got to do my research. I don't know who he's going to play for yet.
HB Prods, CJ Stroud is a questionable guy. I have no idea how he will do. He's been through a lot of adversity, man. You know, he wasn't a highly recruited guy in high school. His dad went to prison for a long time. I think he's a very high character guy, CJ. HB Prods, I haven't followed the Jalen Ramsey situation, but I think I saw he was expected to go to the Rams. Jared Salucci, you guys think Josh Allen needs to get to a Super Bowl this year? I mean, he needs to eventually.
That won't happen this year.
It won't happen this year.
No.
He was only one game away last year.
And
Matthew B says that he heard Jalen Ramsey is headed to the LA Rams, Dallas Cowboys, or Washington Commanders. Lambo, are those three good landing spots for Jalen Ramsey?
Not the Cowboys. They're not going to win anything, but the good spots are the Rams. He already been with the Rams before, and I think the Commanders could use some help in the secondary. So the Rams and Commanders are good fitting places. The Dallas Cowboys, you don't know if Micah Parsons is going to be traded next season for draft picks or whatever, depending on how bad the Dallas Cowboys are going to be.
How many more years does Micah have on his contract? Is this his last year? Has he got one more year or what?
It might be one more year.
HB Prods, I sure hope he doesn't go to the Washington Commanders. We don't need more competition down here in the East. I was surprised that the Commanders kept that other corner from Ohio State, Lattimore. I thought he crapped the bed, man, in the playoffs. I think I would have Jalen Ramsey.
I think Dan Quinn had something up his sleeve this year. I just think y'all's schedule is going to be very tough.
Yes. Jared says the New Orleans Saints head coach, Kellen Moore, will change the Saints culture. Baloney, what do you guys think? The Steelers made a good job trading away Pickens and getting Rodgers?
No, because they hadn't improved on the offensive line. They got a quarterback with no line.
I agree, Jared. I think that Kalen will change the culture. He just needs a quarterback. And with Carr leaving, that was surprising. And dude, baloney. I mean, who else is going to be their quarterback? Mason Rudolph already been the quarterback once. They got rid of 2 starters in the NFL, Wilson and Fields. So I think this was a done deal a long time ago. I think that Rodgers wanted Adams to be the receiver rather than Pickens, because Pickens is Pickens. Oh, here we go. Jay Nasty. Jets. Can't wait for week 1. Jay Nasty, thank you for commenting. Matthew B said Aaron is washed. Man, you guys have been the best. Y'all the real MVPs.
You the real MVP.
Jared says the Cleveland Browns will not be good. HB Prod says, I think the Pittsburgh Steelers go 9-8, another wild card loss, another half decent roster for them. Baloney Sauce says, I agree. Aaron is washed. Lambo, how do you feel about, is Aaron washed? Will the Browns be not good? And will the Steelers go 9-8? How do you feel about those takes from our experts? That's what we're going to call you guys. Y'all are the experts, because I know I'm not. Hoop Edits. Is the current roughing the passer rule helping or hurting the game? Well, it's definitely helping people keeping their quarterbacks. And that's something that the referees can always use to keep in their back pocket. So, Lambo, what do you think about those takes?
I agree with all 3 of them. I don't think Aaron Rodgers is washed, but he's not the same quarterback as he was coming off an Achilles injury. He's not washed, but he just came off an Achilles injury 2 years ago. So we'll see how good he's going to be. But the Steelers don't have no offensive line, so I don't know how good they're really going to be. 9-8 is probably the best they'll go.
Janet is back. I mean, dude, the owners want to see offense. The fans want to see offense. They don't want people getting their quarterbacks knocked out. It changes the game. It changes the season. So, and everybody's talking about safety. So, Hoop Edits, I don't know if it's hurting the game, but it's definitely helping offensive football. So, Janet, welcome back. This is for you. Hey, all the experts out there, put your comments in there. You guys know what y'all are talking about. HB Prods, what do you guys think about the Browns quarterback situation? Who gets the week 1 start and who gets released? I mean, dude, I don't think that they intended to get Shador. I think that was something that just happened, and they were like, dude, we can get probably 2 guys, Dylan, Gabriel, and Shador. We can add them to our roster. One of them is going to work out. One of them ain't. So I think they really didn't lose much. What did they use, a 5th-round pick for Shador? So, I mean, they're not going to be good. They're going to make money. Lambo, what do you think?
I agree. It's not much to really say. You know, Joe Flacco's probably going to be starting quarterback, or Kenny Pickett.
Baloney Sauce Edits. Do you guys think the Eagles will win another Super Bowl this year? I don't, because I just think it's so hard to repeat, man, with the schedule being harder. So I do not. But Lambo, what do you think?
They might go back to the Super Bowl. Maybe it depends on what teams are going to be good in the NFC or not. But it's going to be very hard to go back to Super Bowl. It's very hard. There's only 2 teams that won. Two or 3 teams that really won back-to-back Super Bowls. It's tough. There's not a lot of 3 teams in the NFL.
Baloney, what do you think? Do you think that they will go back-to-back? Matthew B. Totem Pole, thank you for having me and Lambo back. Thank you for hiring us back so we can come on here and cut up and talk about football. Totem Pole Nation is the best. What about them Patriots? Stephon Diggs about to have a good season. He's only He's only their good receiver. I think he will lead them with catches, yards, and TDs. Matthew B. What do you think about your Patriots, Lambo? You are a Patriots fan.
We got other receivers like Kendrick Bourne, and we still got Hunter Henry, and we still got dogs on defense. He's not our only receiver. Josh McDaniels is our offensive coordinator, so he's going to chop things up with Drake May. We got Mike Vrabel. Look, we're going to be competitive. We're going to the playoffs. We're winning at least 10 games. I said the Patriots are going at least 10-7.
Jared, Browns will probably 3, 4, or 5 or 6 wins. Janet said, yeah, the Eagles. Janet thinks the Eagles are going back to back. Baloney said, I don't know. Baloney said, maybe. Jared Salucci, the NFC will be tougher. Will the NFC be tougher, Lambo?
Yes.
HB Prods, I think the Patriots are going to be a playoff team, to be honest. Going to be a big jump from last year. Why is that, Lambo? Is it because of the new coaching staff that's been brought in?
New coaching staff. We were aggressive with free agency. We had a great draft. Drafted some old linemen. We got Matt Collins. We got Morgan Moses. Both Fort Union guys. Fort Union Military Academy, over 130 plus NFL alumni. So we are straight on that side.
Jared says, and the AFC is coming to get KC. Lambo, who makes it out of the AFC to play for the Super Bowl?
I'm going to say the Los Angeles Chargers.
Wow. Jim Harbaugh.
Yes.
B. Prods. Kansas City is a wild card loss team this year, in my opinion. Their time's up. And this is what Patrick Mahomes has to say about that.
It's got to be a mentality. Yes, so when you come out here, you're ready to dominate.
They're ready to come out there and dominate. So what do you think, Lambo? What's on your heart about the NFL?
The NFL season is going to be very, very exciting this year. It's going to be hard for the Kansas City Chiefs and the Eagles, both teams that have been to the Super Bowl last year, to get back. It's going to be very, very hard. There might be some new teams in the AFC and the NFC going to the Super Bowl. Do not be surprised if it's possibly the Chargers or the Rams in the Super Bowl. Don't be surprised if it's 2 LA teams. You never know.
Jared says KC will win the West. HB Prods says the Broncos win the West. I know you're a big Sean Payton and Bo Nix guy. Do you agree with HB Prods, Lambo?
I think Kansas City still wins the West. Denver is probably going to be second or third because you got the Chargers in there too. So 2 or 3 teams are possibly going to make the playoffs out of that division.
Matthew B. Thanks for Joe Milton trade. Hopefully he starts for us down the road. Jared said HB Prods, never count Patrick out. Lambo, what do you think about the Joe Milton trade?
Joe Milton would have made some noise for the New England Patriots because he could throw. He could throw deep balls. He would have made a lot of noise. It would have been the situation with Mac Jones started in 2021 and Cam Newton was the backup. It would have been a lot of noise. So it's a good trade for some assets and a 6th-round pick. They knew Drake May was going to be their guy. And Joe Milton was competing for that spot, but they said, let Joe Milton compete somewhere else. So I'm not mad at the trade at all. They were just doing that to compensate more draft picks.
Jared says HB Prods, never count Patrick out. McLean, Panthers all day. Shanette said he's good, need more opportunities. HB Prod says, I don't think Patrick is that good of a player. Up against a good defense, he is nothing. Look at what happened in the Super Bowl. Completely shut out. Man, that box that the Eagles had, their O-line, D-line, those backers, they're pretty good. They were better in the box than Kansas City. That's why I think they won. Lambeau, how do you feel about, I don't think Patrick Mahomes is that good of a player up against a good defense?
You have a right to your own opinion. I appreciate you, Com. You have a very right to your own opinion, but Patrick Mahomes has proven why he's great.
Jared says, will Bryce Young bring Panthers to the playoffs? Shanetta says, Pat, nice. He makes his players nice. Will Bryce Young bring the Panthers to the playoffs? Put it in the chat. The experts.
No.
Put it in the chat. Not this season.
No.
Matthew B., I don't know about the Panthers. They just can't seem to amaze anyone. What can the Panthers do, Lambeau, to get back to their old glory under Ron Rivera?
Well, they were in their glory with John Fox as the head coach when Jake Delhomme took her to a Super Bowl back in the 2000s, 2003. I think what the Panthers could do is to build a team first, starting from the offensive line, building up the defense, and put Bryce Young in better situations. You got to give him more weapons, but also, like I said, you're in the NFC South. The NFC South, you could basically have almost a losing record and still make the playoffs. But they got Tampa in that division, Atlanta in that division, and New Orleans in that division. So it's going to be harder for them in that division.
HB Prod said no, 7, 10, 8, 9 seasons for the Panthers. Shanetta says, heck yes, Bryce, nice. He has the weapons now. Jared Salucci, probably Panthers missed the playoffs. Mike, Panthers need time. Too many position needs upgrading. Mike said the Bucks win the NFC South. HB Prods, next year through the Panthers, though, HB Prods says next year, though, the Panthers are a playoff team, not to be messed with. Kareem Adams, I think this is their season. Bryce is looking sharp in OTAs. Mad Mexican, is Derek Carr the right quarterback to lead the Saints long term? I think he retired. Jeanette McLean, I've been a Panthers fan since 2002. Wide receiver Ray Carew. I remember him. HB Prods says Derek retired. Here's a question for y'all. Will the Saints have the number 1 pick next year, and will they pick Arch Manning? Lambeau. Saints will pick in the division, Falcons 2nd, Panthers 3rd. Shanetta said Saints are butt. Mike said yes, they will. They will finish number 1, and they will select Arch Manning. Here's Coach Bald. For everybody that doesn't know, Coach Bald hired me and Lambeau back to come on the Totem Pole to create football content. Coach Bald, thank you for this opportunity. This is for you. Coach Bald said Coach Bald's bold prediction, Baker Mayfield's next year's MVP. Wow. Mike said Arch won't be available. Schnett said yes, they will. NFL going to make sure he's going there. Jarrett said the NFC West will be the best division to watch. And Lambeau, you agree with that, correct?
Yes.
Shanette McLean says, or some good franchise. HB Prod says Saints will get the number 1 pick, but I don't think Arch Manning is a smart pick. Why is that, HB Prods? Lambeau, why would you say selecting Arch Manning number 1 overall would not be a smart pick for the Saints? Mike said 49ers will win the West. Wow. That's a hot take.
I don't think they're going to lose that many games. I think Kellen Moore is We'll see what Kellen Moore does with Tyler Show and whoever the starting quarterback is. I don't think they're going to lose that many games. They might win at least 6 or 7 games. The New Orleans Saints, like normal. So I don't think they're going to lose 13 games. They'll probably win about between 5 and 7 games.
Mike said 49ers finishing first in the West, Rams 2, Cardinals 3. So that means the Seahawks are 4. Yep, Mike. Because if you look here, Lambeau, all these things are broken down by the divisions. All these rows. You see, like Cardinals, LA, 49ers, Matthew B. Arch Manning is going to be a Pittsburgh Steeler. They only got Rodgers on a 1-year deal. Do you think they will move forward with Rudolph or Howard? Lambeau, what do you think about that?
I think Will Howard. I think Will Howard's a better quarterback than Mason Rudolph.
Jared said, will Spencer start for the Saints?
No.
Spencer Rattler. What do you think, Jared? Do you think that Spencer will start? Now they're winning about 4 at most, says Shanetta. Jared says Buffalo will win the AFC East. Mike said Cowboys will tank for Arch next year. Wow, okay. HB Prods. I don't think the quarterback class of next year is going to be too good like the last 2 years. But if the Saints don't find a quarterback this year, then it's possible they select Arch Manning. Jared, Josh Allen will play like an MVP again. Mike said show starts. Shanetta says, or the Cowboys, that's a nice place for him. Jared said Spencer Rattler will not start for the New Orleans Saints.
I agree. It's probably
I
going to be a
think
rookie
it's a new coach. Spencer Rattler. I don't see him being a Kellen Moore quarterback. Matthew B. Tyler Show is going to be the starter for the Saints. What teams do you guys think will fall out of the playoffs? The Commanders might. The schedule, you know. What do you think, Lambeau?
Pittsburgh Steelers will fall off. Right now, the number one pick out is Pittsburgh Steelers. Anybody else, I got to do research on it. I got to do research on everybody's schedule.
Here's a question for y'all. Will Aaron Rodgers lead Mike Tomlin to his first losing season as a coach? Mike said the Commanders make it. The Steelers are out. Jared said, my Detroit Lions, do you think they will get 11 wins?
No. Maybe 10. They were 12-5 last year. They might go 10-7.
Chuba Hubbard, top 3 running backs this year. He was number 4 last year. Bryce going to be top 15 quarterback. Mike, Steelers finish 9-8. Mike, Lions with 11 wins can happen. Lambeau, thank you for coming on. We love you guys.